Okay, with it being 4 o'clock, we're going to start right on time today. So let me just start off by introducing myself. My name is Jody Foster. I'm one of the public information officers with the Central Okanagan Emergency Operations Center. I'm also the Director of Communications at the Regional District of Central Okanagan, so wearing both hats today as we move really from what is an emergency and has been an emergency with the White Rock Lake fire and starting to transition into our recovery process. Being 4 o'clock, we're going to start right on time today. So I'd like to start this meeting by acknowledging that we're gathering today primarily on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Syilx Okanagan people. I know this fire has spanned several boundaries of local governments and our Indigenous peoples in the area, and includes residents from the Regional District, the Okanagan Indian Band, Thompson-Nicola Regional District, and the Regional District of North Okanagan. I just wanted to clarify that this meeting today, while it might have some information that would be useful to others, it is really intended for the Regional District of Central Okanagan residents that are returning to homes. Specifically because we have some of our service programs that are meant only for those people. If you are from the other areas and you're following us today, I would recommend that you get in contact with your local governments and find out the services that are provided to you. I'm sure some of them would be very similar to what we're doing today. Just a little bit about how we're going to proceed this afternoon. We have panelists on the line that you can see there. We're going to try and give you some of the nuts and bolts of specifically what you need to do as you start thinking about going home and then entering into areas that have been evacuated. So we have specialists from the Regional District, from our Provincial Emergency Management Program, BC Hydro, Telus, Interior Health, the Canadian Mental Health Association, the Red Cross, and also our Conservation Office. So they're each going to be able to tell you some specifics from their area of expertise. Each of the speakers will be speaking for about around five to 10 minutes, and then I'll introduce them as we go. So with that, I'm going to start off today with Terry Olson. She's our representative from the Emergency Management BC program and is coming to us from one of the pre-ocs. Welcome, Terry.
Thank you. Very happy to join you today, and unfortunately not under the best circumstances. So, but I can give you some information on hopefully how things can get better for you as the days go by. I'd like to express my gratitude today for joining you from the lands of the Tecumseh to Shipwecum people, where I live, work, and play. I am currently the Deputy Director in the Central Pre-Oc, and I am going to be talking to you today about recovering after a wildfire. So the first thing is looking at reentry, and reentry begins when it is safe to do so. BC Wildfire Service makes a recommendation to First Nations and local governments when they feel that it is safe from a wildfire perspective. The next thing is for local governments and First Nations to look at the hazards. So environmental or infrastructure hazards, roads, and roads in and out. And then they perform their damage assessments. Placards will be placed on houses, and that will let homeowners know whether they're suitable for re-entry, whether access is restricted, or if it's unsafe to enter. From there, homeowners will do a personal assessment. They need to go prepared, have a flashlight and cleaning supplies, and protect themselves. They would walk around their perimeter and assess hazards on the outside and make sure that the main power breaker is off before they enter their homes. Generators should only be used outdoors, and homeowners would need to check their water and sewer systems. An inspection would need to be done of gas or propane lines prior to use. And another thing that we recommend is to take pictures and keep receipts and record the time spent cleaning. So possibly the first thing that some people may see is fire retardant because it's very visible. And if it has been used near your property, it's easily recognizable by the red color. And just wanted to let you know that this is not a harmful retardant. It is red from the iron oxide mixture. It's water soluble, and if it's dry, you can scrub it with water or use a power washer to get it off. Next thing to look at is the water. Do not drink or prepare food with water until officials declare it is safe to use. And then the next thing is food. The regional district is arranging to have fridges and freezers removed, which I'm sure they'll speak about later. And it is recommended to discard all food that is spoiled. If power has been out for longer than 3 days, that includes the food that's in your freezers. Canned food is fine unless it's dented, the cans are bulged, or rusted. And if you feel that the cans are fine, you still need to wash the smoke off the affected cans. Glass jars exposed to heat should be thrown out. And you should discard all food and items exposed to heat, ash, chemicals, soot, water, and smoke. That includes open food, packaged food, including cardboard boxes, plastic, and cellophane. Then the hard work begins, the cleaning. Your insurance policy may cover your cleaning expenses, so keep track of the products that you use and the time that you spend cleaning. If you're cleaning your home yourself, please wear gloves and goggles, keep pets and children away, and ventilate the area. Smoke odors can last a long time, so areas may need to be cleaned several times. Soot and smoke can be removed from painted walls with trisodium phosphate, or TSP. Vacuum all surface, change your furnace filter, and have your ducts cleaned. Dispose of hazardous materials like solvents and garden chemicals if they've been damaged. Your next step, if your home has received damage, is to consider the following. Use a reputable contractor, apply for any necessary permits, and utility damage must be repaired under permit and inspected by the appropriate agency, which I'm sure you'll hear more about. If you have insurance, most insurers provide a 24-hour claim service, and it's important to provide as much detail as possible. List all damaged or destroyed items, take photos, and if the items don't create a hazard, keep those items to show your adjuster. Keep all receipts related to cleanup and living out expenses. And for any unanswered questions, contact the Insurance Bureau of Canada at 1-844-227-5422. And I can provide the link to the website where I got this information, and a PDF explaining what to do after a fire, and also psychological care. Take care. Thank you.
Great, thanks very much, Terry. We're going to pass it over now to Travis Kendall. He's been working in our Emergency Operations Center in the operations area, and is also the manager of engineering services here at the Regional District. So he'll be able to provide you an update on some of the things the Regional District has been working on. So Travis.
Thank you, Jody. Good afternoon. I know first and foremost that people want to know when they can return home. I'm happy to say that today we were able to get some residents back into their neighborhoods of the Valley of the Sun and Upper Reentry. And we were able to do that working with both the BC Wildfire Service as well as the Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure. For other evacuated communities, we are working closely with other governments and our service partners to ensure that the community roads and the neighborhoods themselves are in good condition and safe when you return home. Many of you have reached out to me and to our EOC with questions regarding fridges and freezers. As Terry mentioned, we do have a plan. The Regional District has arranged for the Northwest Side Transfer Station to be open every morning from 8 a.m. to noon for the month of September. There will be no limits on the volume of waste that you can bring to the Northwest Side Transfer Station. During the afternoon, our team will be busy managing the morning's waste, ensuring that it gets to the landfill before the end of the day, creating enough space for the next day's material. We know that this is a well-used site and we'll need to manage that space appropriately. We've also coordinated with other agencies to create a staging area for fridges and freezers, and we'll offer the curbside collection of fridges and freezers for the first week following reentry. More information on that will be available on our recovery website soon, including contact numbers for scheduling your curbside fridge and freezer for pickup. Please be mindful that wildlife may be attracted to food sources. It's important to store garbage in secure spaces until it can be appropriately dealt with. Earlier this week, the RDCO had a team of rapid damage assessors begin work through the wildfire impacted areas of Killarney Beach and Esteban to assess structures for continued occupancy and communicate specific hazards to those that were returning to the property. Assessors review building items such as structural integrity and proximity risks such as hazard trees. The BC Housing Rapid Damage Assessment Program is designed to get as many people as possible back to their homes as quickly and as safely as possible. Those placards are posted on homes in the vicinity of the wildfire to let you know the result of the assessment. Red placards indicate the structure is unsafe to enter or occupy. Orange placards indicate the structure has restricted use due to safety issues, and there will be more details on the placard itself. Green placards indicate the structure was inspected and there is no restriction or use for occupancy. There's more information available on this entire process on the BC Housing website at bchousing.org. Once you're there, search for post-disaster building assessments. Terry touched on water quality. I wanted to confirm that from the RDCO's perspective. Within the communities of West Shore Estates and the Valley of the Sun, water remains available and under a water quality advisory. Under a water quality advisory, people with weakened immune systems or wishing additional protection should take precautions when consuming that water. As a precaution, residents and businesses can bring that water to a rolling boil for about 1 minute or more, or seek an alternative safe source for their water supply. Within the Killarney Beach area, we will be issuing a do not consume advisory that will be in place for reentry. During the wildfire response, that drinking water system sustained some damage, and the integrity of the system cannot be guaranteed. For your own safety, when you re-enter, do not consume water from the Killarney Beach water system. Do not use that water to prepare food. Do not use that water to brush your teeth. Do not drink that water. The RDCO will work closely with Interior Health and undertake significant cleaning and testing before returning the community drinking water supply to a potable standard. In addition to the do not consume advisory, the RDCO will have stage 4 sprinkler restrictions in place for the Killarney Beach system. This is to ensure that everybody in that community has enough water to shower, wash their hands, flush their toilets, while also maintaining enough water for firefighting purposes. During a stage 4 sprinkler restriction period, there shall be no outdoor water use for any purpose other than what is required for health and safety. Once reentry has occurred, and if surplus water is available, we will scale back those restrictions wherever possible. Sorry, a lot to say. Even though you won't be able to see the wildfire from your home, it's still out there. There's areas within the backcountry that surround these communities that are still restricted. Conditions are still dry. Fire hazards are still extreme. Operating off-highway vehicles near wildfires is illegal. The current area restriction takes in a large swath of land east and north of West Side Road communities. Visit the BC Wildfire Service and see their fire bans and restrictions section for more details. As we transition into reentry and away from our response, our focus is on getting everybody home. We know that we have a very long journey ahead of us. To support community recovery, we've begun building a recovery office which will support residents as they work through the recovery and rebuilding process. It's just in its infancy stages and it's just being initiated now, but I do have some information to share. If you would like to get a hold of the Recovery Office, we have an email address. It's recovery@rdco.com. We have a phone line set up at 250-469-6111. And we've also set up our website, rdco.com/recovery, which will continue to develop and grow as we proceed through the recovery process. Once reentry occurs, we're going to be reaching out to you and your neighbors to talk about your needs. These assessments, these needs assessments, will be the foundation of our community recovery plan. And your participation in the assessment process is critical. You will have more details available on the rdco.com/recovery website. And we'll also be reaching out to you in person wherever possible for more information once that process begins. And before I hand over the mic, I just wanted to stress three things again. One is that we have a process to help you with your fridges, freezers, and food waste. Before you throw out your fridge or freezer, speak with your insurance provider. Phone numbers for whom to call to arrange for your freezer and fridge collection will be posted on the rdco.com/recovery website. Again, the Killiney Beach water system is functional, but it is damaged. When you re-enter, do not use that water to prepare food. Do not use that water to cook. Do not use that water to brush your teeth. Do not drink that water. Water quantity is also extremely limited when you return. Do not use water for any outdoor use other than what is required for health and safety. This is to ensure that everybody in the community has water available for basic sanitation and fire protection. And third, I'd like everybody to consider limiting your first reentry experience to more of a visit to confirm the state of your home. You don't know what you're coming back to. Site conditions such as ash and heavy smoke damage may be a hazard to the younger members of your family. That's it for me, Jody. Thank you.
Thanks, Travis. So moving from Travis and a little bit of his utility information to a couple of more. So we're going to move over now to Marianne Cools from BC Hydro. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Jody. Thanks so much for having me here again today. I really appreciate the opportunity. So I'm very happy to have some very good news to share. As of earlier today, we've now restored all of the customers in this area that we were able to restore. We're very, very pleased about that. There are customers, though, that we were not able to re-energize. So if there's any damage to your house wiring or meter base, we will have not been able to re-energize your home. So if you arrive home and you don't have power, you're going to need to have the damage repaired or replaced and inspected before you request a reconnection from BC Hydro. When you're ready to request that reconnection, please call our customer service team at 1-800-BC Hydro. That number is 1-800-224-9376. We do want to advise that the area continues to be an active work zone for us. So when you come back, you will see us on site. We will be removing meters and services on home that we were not able to safely reconnect. We're also going to ask that you watch for debris at the base of our poles. And that includes sharp objects, glass, and wires. We will be on site this week to remove the remaining debris. But if you are back, and especially if you have pets or young children, we ask you to be very careful around our poles and watch for this debris. We're also continuing to restore to do work in the area. But we do ask that you watch for flaggers. There will also be some road closures and single lane traffic in some areas. So please drive carefully when you return. When you return home, and I know it's being covered, but the contents of your fridge and freezers are very likely spoiled, we do ask that you check the Canadian Food Inspection Agency guidelines. Those are available online to for information on how to handle refrigerated and frozen food after an outage. But the general guidelines are after 4 hours, the contents of your fridge are spoiled. And between 24 to 48 hours, the contents of your freezer are spoiled. So I think it's safe to assume that the contents of both are likely spoiled. You're also going to want to reset your clocks, automatic timers, and alarms, and restock any supplies in your emergency kit that you have used. We talked about this last time, but I'll just remind folks that we are offering a credit for any customers that were affected by the evacuation order. You will not be expected to pay for any electricity consumed during the time that you are out of your home. And we also offer flexible bill payments when you're able to return home. So this is an automatic credit. It's not something you need to apply for. And if you have any questions, again, please contact our customer service team at 1-800-HYDRO. For destroyed homes, we will waive all electricity charges previous billing period, meaning that you will not receive a final bill. This again is automatic. There's no need to contact us. And we'll also waive any electricity service connection charge if you rebuild your home, if it's not paid for by insurance. And those are all the updates from me. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Marianne. We're going to go on now to Telus, and we've got two kind souls on the line with us. We have Shelley McDonald and Jeff Yee, and I believe Shelley is going to be doing the presenting.
Hi, and welcome everybody. Actually, we're both going to be presenting, Jody Foster. And so just wanted to send out a really big hello and warm welcome to everybody that was evacuated out of their homes. We have been right in there. We got in there right after. It was kind of safe to go in there. My crews, we're doing such tons of work. So I'm the field manager for Vernon and Westside area. Work for Telus, obviously. So we've been working day and night to get the fiber operational, and they actually were able to do this last Wednesday, which was so fantastic. BC Hydro sort of cleared the way for us in order to string our fiber along. So talk about partnership and collaboration. So it was really great to see. So we have some awesome news around the Reentry and Furward area that it's fully energized with our fiber, which is just awesome. We thought at first that Valley of the Sun that there was a corner of it that would not be operational, but great news that it's 100%. So we're so excited about that. Sort of a weird good news story is that our Estamont CO was taken right out by the fire, which only housed copper services. So we're going to be going ahead and putting fiber in instead for any homes. We figure there's probably about 30 to 40 homes that will be affected by this, where you don't have services at the moment because you don't have fiber. We're fully on that. I actually had my networking engineer out there today. He gave me the good news out in the parking lot just before I came on here today. So that's a really good news story. And we figure we have a committed team making sure that all of you are going to be well taken care of. And it's close to our heart as well, because I have 2 team members that are over in that area. And not just because of nepotism, right? But because it's they're part of the community of which they serve and live in. And that means a lot to us. And so we just want to make sure we take care of that full area just very, very well. I take care of a lot of my customers too. So I'm going to give you, if anyone can write this down, I don't know if it's going to be something that will be sent out, Jody, with information of everybody's numbers and emails. But I can be reached at 250-306-3676. And I'm the local manager. So you're not calling into a call center, but my colleague Jeffy will actually be giving you a bit more information around billing and services and things like that. I can also be reached at email of Shelley, and that's with ey.mcdonald, McDonald, good old Irish girl, at telus.com. Okay. So I take care of my customers very specifically, and we want to make sure that you get the best service possible, because the future is friendly. It's going to be built even better than it was, and we look forward to many years of having you as our customers. Jeff, do you want to take over and just talk about a bit more around equipment, vacation suspends, cancellations, and all that kind of not so interesting stuff?
Absolutely. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Jody. Hello, everyone. My name is Jeff. I am with the Situation Management and Continuity team. For all evacuees returning home that are impacted by the BC wildfires, rest assured, Telus is here for you, and we're here to help you rebuild. We're listening, and we have your back. If your home has been totally demolished by the wildfire, not to worry, we've waived the final bill. You will not be getting anything. If you have extensive damage and need to suspend, cancel, or put your lines on vacation disconnect, but you have no equipment to return, not to worry. Call us. We will waive any equipment rental returns needed, and we will help you put your lines on suspend while you rebuild. For those of you who have mobility service and are facing data or voice overcharges during the wildfire, again, let us know. We will credit you for any overages as needed. If you lost any services during the time that of the wildfire, again, let us know. However long it takes for you to rebuild, to get back on your feet, whether it's 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, not to worry. Telus is going to be here for you. If you've not been in contact with us and require assistance, please give us a call so that we can assist you as needed. We have tried to reach out to as many impacted customers as possible, but for obvious reasons, there's always going to be the odd one or two that we may have missed. So please call us if you need assistance. We are here for you. For home services, we can be reached at 1-888-811-2323. For cellular or mobility services, we can be reached at 1-866-558-2273 or *611 from your cell phone. Thank you, and back to you, Jody.
Thanks, Jeff. And yes, Shelley, your answer to your question, we will actually be putting out, hopefully as soon as tomorrow, a returning home guide for residents, and it does have a lot of the contact information that we're talking about today, so that residents, if they're not catching this while we're all talking quickly, they'll be able to have that written down and they can access it there as well later. So thank you for that. We're going to move on now to Interior Health, and we've got Courtney Zimmerman and Amanda Anderson on with us today. So welcome to you both.
Thank you. I just want to start off by acknowledging returning home after a fire is a pretty traumatic event. And as others have mentioned, can be even more traumatic for small children. So like others have mentioned, we really don't recommend the first trip back to be a big trip. Might be worthwhile just to go in 1 or 2 people, do your assessment, find out what your placard on your home is, and kind of make a plan from there. Again, as others have mentioned, it's really important to go back with your cell phone fully charged, camera, pen and paper, so you can start the documentation process, especially if you have insurance, you start those processes. And if you don't have insurance, there is more information. And I believe we've got BC Red Cross on today who can help with that as well. So it's really about preparation, documentation, and again, planning when you go into your site. There's good resources on the BC Emergency Preparedness website, on the Interior Health website under your environment and wildfire response. And I believe the regional district will send out those information packages as well tomorrow. As others have mentioned, if your power has been cut for more than 3 hours to a day, really recommend being prepared to deal with a bit of a gross fridge and freezer probably. If it's been out for a significant amount of time, many people just duct tape it shut, your fridge, and then go through that collection process. But again, contact your insurance company. Sometimes they require additional information before you dispose, or they want certain pictures or certain things done. So as always, contact your insurance provider before you start throwing things away. If you're on your own individual well, we recommend that you go through a shocking process or flushing process. And if you want more information about that, you can contact your local health authority or health inspector. And there's information on how to get that contact information on the Interior Health website, and we can help you through that process. If you believe that your septic system has been damaged, if you're on your own individual septic system, again, there's information about how to get a registered on-site wastewater practitioner to come out and do an assessment of that system. Often, if a home burns down, you can't just reconnect to an existing septic system. There needs to be an assessment done and a permitting process there as you go through your new building permit process. But again, all that information we can help people with and support them if they contact their local health department. And I think others have mentioned the cleanup process. Again, lots of soap and water, ensuring that sometimes it takes more than 1 or 2 washes before you get the smoke smell out, but just taking some precautions, wearing gloves, and recognizing if you're finding you're overheating, you're working too hard, to stop and take breaks and pace yourselves. Most people get into their home after a wildfire and they feel really compelled to start scrubbing and cleaning and doing 12 hours or 14 hours a day of work. Just take your time and pace yourself. It is a really big experience to go through. So it's important just to take time, reach out for help, ask friends and family to help you if you need that. And as well, there are going to be other agencies, I think, speaking, like the Red Cross, who have supports as well. So it's really about recognizing that this is going to be a bit of a marathon and not a sprint. It takes time to get back to kind of normal within your home. So take your time, reach out for help. And again, just recognize that it is a really big event to go through, especially for any small children in the home. So thanks.
Thanks, Courtney. Amanda, did you have anything you were wanting to add to that?
I just wanted to add one resource that we have on our Interior Health website, which is linked to the Canadian Mental Health Association, and just being cognizant that this is probably one of the most traumatic experiences that you may go through, and to reach out for help if you need that. Thank you.
That's great. And an excellent segue into our next speaker, which is Becky, who is from the Canadian Mental Health Association. So please go ahead, Becky.
Hey, yeah, so I just kind of wanted to, I guess, carry on from what you were saying, Courtney and Amanda, around it's going to be a big experience in that, looking not just after our physical health and the physical things around us, looking after our mental and emotional health is going to be especially important. And the way that we may be feeling about things, the way we may be thinking about things are going to be very individual for each and every one of us, and experiencing a lot of tough emotions. So things like stress, anxiety, anger, sadness, fear, or just general numbness as well. There is no one right or wrong way to feel. Whatever you're feeling is what you're feeling, and that is valid and that is okay. And those emotions may mean that we do try and go in all at once and kind of fight whatever it is that we're feeling and dealing with, versus kind of freezing. Both of those are totally okay. Just the most important thing is kind of acknowledging that that is a big thing, and it's about taking that one step at a time. And, sometimes one of the most supportive things that we can do is not only kind of talking about it and connecting with the community and others around us, but also just even asking ourselves, like, what's just the right next thing for me to do right now? Whether that's texting a friend, whether that's grabbing like a glass of water if it's safe to do so, just saying that, okay, like, what's the next right step for me to do right now? Because sometimes that kind of zooming in and focusing can kind of help us feel a little bit in control in a situation where we might be feeling very out of control, and a lot of really, really difficult things coming alongside that. So I just want to, say, like, whatever you're feeling, it's okay. Just do reach out for support. Kind of pushing it down and brushing it under the carpet can mean that it makes it more difficult for us in the long run. So I just wanted to talk about a couple of resources where they might be a great place to reach out for if maybe you don't feel like there's a place for you to do that. So there is a 24/7 Indigenous crisis line that is available. The phone number for that is 1-800-588-8717. There is also a BC-wide 24/7 crisis phone number, where that is 1-800-784-2433. There's also a text line as well. So if talking about things feels a bit much, but you'd much rather text, you can text home to 741-741 as well. And they're all 24/7. So great places to kind of reach out. And also, I think an important thing to say is crisis lines aren't just for whatever we feel a crisis is. It's also for when we're feeling extremely overwhelmed or just need to talk through something in the moment. And then another place where you can kind of talk through some more things is CMHA Kelowna does do virtual, online, or over the phone 1-hour counseling sessions completely free for anyone who's 25 and older. all very like kind of solution focused. So you can go to cmhakelowna.org to find out more about that. And then also for if anyone who's under the age of 25, so between 12 and 25, Reentry Kelowna also offers those virtual counselling services as well. So there's quite a few different places, and hopefully we'll be able to get your needs met in whatever way you need to.
Great, thank you very much, Becky, appreciate it. And now we're going to move over to the Red Cross. We have the Director of Emergency Management BC and the Yukon from Red Cross, and that's Alicia Dempsey. Hi, Alicia.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. Just wanted to echo also my thoughts are with everyone that's been impacted by these events over this past summer. It's going to be a very difficult time, and just know that we are here to help support both in the coming days, weeks, months, and really years ahead. There's no time frame for recovery, really. It's at your own your own comfort level around how fast or how slow you go through the process. So just know that that's normal, and everyone will take their own time that they need to go through the process. We do have some assistance that we're able to provide. So we have a one-time financial assistance program for those who have been impacted by these fires. So anybody that's been evacuated for over 10 days is eligible for assistance, or anyone whose primary household has had severe impacts is also eligible for financial assistance. And so this financial assistance is meant to cover immediate needs with the reentry of returning home, and really up to the discretion of the homeowner to decide how to spend those funds. But it's just a little support to help you along this difficult way. In order to receive the financial assistance, we do ask that people register with the Canadian Red Cross, and they can do so by calling our call center at 1-800-863-6582. That call center is open from 8 till 8. And once you register with us, if you are eligible for assistance, we'll be reaching them back out to you to ensure that that we are being able to provide that in a way that meets your needs, whether it's through electronic fund transfer or a cash card or what that looks like. So we'll meet the needs of whatever your household has. We also have teams that are located in person. And we have teams in Kamloops, Kelowna, Vernon, and we have a mobile team that's also going to various communities. And so you can go on our Red Cross at redcross.ca, and we continue to update that list around where our teams are active and where you can go to receive face-to-face support. As I said, we'll reach out to you if you are eligible for the financial assistance. And so please do register with us if you fit into that one of those key areas. The rest is, as I said, we'll continue to look at how we might be able to support with recovery programming. And so again, as we have programming that we develop and are able to launch, we'll then announce that and reach out to individuals who again may be eligible. And so like with everyone else, we're just looking to see how we may be able to support what those needs may be in the coming days and weeks ahead. And so just know we're here with you. We're not going anywhere, and we're here to help support you. So take care, everyone. Please be kind to yourselves.
Thank you very much, Alicia. And last but definitely not least, Mike and I talked a little earlier on the phone today, and there was a great video on Castanet earlier of a bear in West Shore Estates in somebody's backyard swimming pool. So Mike Badry is here with us. He's from the BC Conservation Office and is the manager of wildlife conflict, and he's going to give us a little bit of information about what we might see in the wildlife way of wildlife as people are returning to areas where there haven't been people for a while. So Mike, please.
Thanks, Jody. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, with people being away, there is a good chance that wildlife may have moved into the area and they might be utilizing your property. You know, wildlife tend to be wary of people, but this is an opportunity, especially with the wildfire situation and really just the heat. where animals have possibly been displaced, or their food sources have, dried up, their natural food sources. They're looking for opportunities. So when you return to your property, there's a chance that wildlife may be there, and we just want to make sure that you're aware of that and you take the proper precautions. So certain things like you do not want to approach wildlife, especially large animals such as bears and even large ungulates like deer. You want to give them as much space as possible. Most of the time, they're going to leave. They're going to continue to show that wariness of people, and your presence is probably going to move them off. But in the rare situation where animals may act defensively and want to sort of protect that space, you should really call our call center, our 24/7 wrap line at 1-877-952-7277. There are operators there, as I said, 24/7 to take your call. They record the information and they pass it on to the local conservation officers so they can respond accordingly. So yeah, anytime you feel that there's any kind of risk to your public safety due to wildlife, call that number and report it. But you're also going to have an issue around attractants. So being gone that long, there's probably fruit trees and berry bushes and perhaps gardens and even landscaping that wildlife are perhaps utilizing. So you're going to want to be aware of that, and we really encourage people to manage those attractants. You want to make sure that it comes down to bear conflicts. Garbage is almost always the number one. So you want to make sure that your garbage that you're going to be producing when you're cleaning up, and especially, I think, as Travis noted, your fridges and your freezers could be really strong attractants. Those things are not bear resistant, so you can't just leave them sitting out in the open where bears can access them, because that would be very, very attractive to bears. So you want to keep them someplace where they can't be accessed, or you want to remove them from your property as quickly as possible. And you want to, same with your garbage. Fruit, you want to pick up any windfall or overripe fruit and make sure it's inaccessible to bears. Any of those things that wildlife may find as an attractant, you want to make sure that it's being managed appropriately. There's some really good information, especially on our Wild Safe BC website. So if you Google that, for all different species, from bears to deer to raccoons, you can see some of the things you can do, some of the practices to make sure that you're managing those attractants and you're not leading to those sorts of conflicts. So that's just sort of what I wanted to talk about, and hope everybody stays safe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. So that is all the speakers we had for today, to kind of just give a high level overview of people returning home. As Travis pointed out at the beginning of his presentation, we did have the opportunity to have some of the residents return home today to Valley of the Sun. I did just have a note while we were talking, actually, from our Emergency Operations Center, and they wanted me to clarify that Attenborough Road is not quite ready to go home, and to please check your addresses in the map at the courtemergency.ca website to make sure that you know for sure who can return and who not. And then I also did have a further piece of news, which was to say that we're finishing up the home assessments, as Travis had outlined, and working with Ministry of Transportation and Highways around the West Side Road access. And we are anticipating at this time, if all of those assessments continue as we're expecting them to, that the residents in the area will all be home by later this weekend. So just a little bit of good news. I know there were a lot of residents that were really quite anxious about getting home before school started. So looking at, if all things go well, having everybody returned home by the weekend. Just one more wrap up, which is that, as Travis had mentioned, we are in the middle now, I guess, of making a shift between the response to the fire and starting into the recovery part of this process, which will be much longer. We've got our regionaldistrict.com/recovery website started now. There's a lot of the contact information that we just talked through now on the site there. And we'll also be finishing up the package for people that can be accessed. I think they're going to do as people are driving back into the community, and as well available online. And in the meantime, if you need anything at all, you can still reach out to the Emergency Operations Center for now. And that public information line is 250-469-8490. And that will still be available for the next week or two as we start this transition over into recovery. So thank you again to everybody online and to the residents. We are wishing you all the best as you start returning to home. And please let us know when you need more support. So thank you very much, everybody.